that they can provide that direct information to their communities. I agree, it has been frustrating.
Hello to the viewers and the replay viewers.
That we could say kind of longer term and more advanced planning what's happening. But as we respond to vaccine coming down from our the federal supply and we get it out to our communities, we're working as fast as we can to update that information. We are getting a little bit more lead time from our federal partners now, so that should make it more stable for us to schedule out people longer term into vaccines so that they know that they have that appointment. They can at least get a little rest, be a little less anxious because they have the appointment, knowing that that appointment may come up in a few weeks, because we know people have been very anxious for this vaccine.
I paused it a second. People are going to get very frustrated if they're starting to vaccinate people 80 and older on Monday, and they're not even opening up the way you can request an appointment until Monday. Then who's going to be getting vaccinated on Monday if they're 80 or older? That doesn't sound like a very good plan to me.
From when this pandemic started, because we knew that was going to be an important tool to getting us out of this. And now that the vaccine is here, we'll move as quick as we can and try and communicate as best we can so that people know what to expect.
I want to follow up on that just a little bit. You said appointments will likely book up quickly. Now, if a senior isn't able to secure an appointment for a certain week, what should they do at that point? Should they go online? Should they call again? How many times should they call? What time should they call? I mean, that's the confusion out there from folks who are hearing.
And I think, again, the Google tool that we're bringing on next week will help people be able to sign up for alerts to help facilitate getting that appointment. And our 211 operators can help people walk through some of the online tools that they can do that can help to schedule a vaccine and to give them alerts of when they could check back for additional appointments.
Wendy, I want to bring you in on this one. This is another question from the viewer on Facebook. Joan Turner asked this question. Are there any true drive-through vaccination sites in the Portland area where you don't have to exit the vehicle? Now, seniors and handicapped can't walk a mile at many sites. And I know other states in the country do have these drive-through sites now. Does Oregon have anything like that at this point?
We do.
The drive-through at the airport.
OHSU is operating and has been operating a drive-up clinic at the Portland airport. It is a by appointment model, and we have hooked up with them, so you can call the convention center or go through the chat bot and we can schedule into the OHSU drive-up site. There's also a drive-up site at the Hillsborough State.
What if they don't have a car?
Deborah Kafori, I want to get your opinion on something here. Seniors are upset, you've heard this, that teachers are getting priority when it comes to the vaccines. The CDC said yesterday that vaccinating teachers is not a prerequisite for safely reopening physical.
Who said that?
In your opinion, Governor Brown says we're following the science. Does that mean the state is making a mistake, do you feel, by putting teachers ahead of seniors?
Well, that's $1 million question that everyone's wondering right now. And I think actually because the decision has been made, talking about what has happened is not very fruitful for moving us forward. I think it's incumbent upon all of us to continue to try and prioritize the folks using the epidemiology, using the science, using the data to look at who actually is contracting the virus, who is dying from this virus, and how it's spreading. And
who is dying from the virus is people that are older. So Oregon is prioritizing teachers over seniors for vaccinations, but they also want to open schools because some school age children that are not in school have died by suicide. But that is a good question. If they're saying they can safely open schools before they have vaccines, which they've done in New York City, then the question would be, why are teachers getting priority over seniors in Oregon?
if you use those tools, you see that there are a lot of folks out there who, especially in our communities of color, Black, Latinx, Pacific Islander, folks need to have access to this vaccine. And I know that at the county, we're prepared once we start to get, we have gotten some vaccine and we have prioritized those community members. And as more vaccine comes into our hands, that is the lens that we're going to be looking through.
How have they prioritized those community members if they're not yet eligible to get vaccinated? I'm replaying that part.
And the data to look at who actually is contracting the virus, who is dying from this virus, and how it's spreading. And if you use those tools, you see that there are a lot of folks out there who, especially in our communities of color, Black, Latinx, Pacific Islander, folks need to have access to this vaccine. And I know that at the county, we're prepared once we start to get, we have gotten some vaccine and we have prioritized those community members. And as more vaccine comes into our hands, that is the lens that we're going to be looking through.
All right, Dr. Fines, I want to ask you now, given what the CDC said yesterday.
That's not true. It goes by the state. I'm not sure who's commenting because I have to open Facebook. But all essential workers and elderly get vaccinated first? No, that's not true. Kids can't go back to school till all administrators are vaccinated? No, that's not true. New York schools have been open for months, New York City schools, before the vaccine was available to any teachers. And essential workers are not in the category for being vaccinated in Oregon yet. And elderly, they're not starting to vaccinate the elderly in Oregon until next Monday. They're starting with 80-year-olds. Essential workers are not even in Group 1A. And yes, you're saying kids can't go back to school till all administrators are vaccinated. That's not necessarily the case.
Governor Brown should change her stance on the vaccinations of teachers ahead of some seniors.
Again, as Chair Kupuri said, this was a decision that the governor made and announced in the spirit of getting kids back into in-person schooling, which in general public health very much supports. This was a layer of protection that Governor Brown in her conversations with teachers felt like was necessary here in Oregon. I, as a local public health officer, am very focused and very aware of who's at highest risk of hospitalization and death. And so I am as eager as anyone else to get into the elderly, people with underlying conditions, and as Chair Kupuri said, persons of color, people who speak English as a second language. That's where we know disease is spreading in our counties.
Do you feel that seniors should have gone before teachers?
I'm going to look on Facebook to see who commented.
Again, what's done is done. I appreciate teachers. I appreciate all that they do. I appreciate some of their safety concerns around returning to in-person schooling. And I very much want to see kids back to school. That said, I think just moving through that group and getting on to our older age groups is where our focus needs to be.
We have much more to talk about. We'll continue our town hall on vaccines in Oregon after the short break.
Said, I think just moving through that group and getting on to our older age groups is where our focus needs to be.
We have much more to talk about. We'll continue our town hall on vaccines in Oregon after the short break.
K2 Ski Report is brought to you by your Northwest Honda dealers. For the first time in Honda's history, Honda has 0% financing for 60 months on new SUVs and trucks. 0% for 60 months. That's 5 full years of zero interest. Search your local Honda dealer today. It has taken over 70 years for Honda to offer it. Announcing 0% financing for 60 months on new SUVs and trucks. 0% for 60 months. That's no interest for the life of your
All right, I'm looking.
Honda dealer today.
We're proud to say that Leaf Guard has earned the Good Housekeeping Seal 16 years in a row. There's only one Leaf Guard. They only
Christy Billig. What state are you in again? And you said administrators. Why do administrators need to be vaccinated unless they're in schools before teachers?
Right now, we're going to double your gift from a $25 to a $50 Amazon gift card with your free in-home estimate and gutter inspection.
More than ever, it's important to enjoy the spaces you're in. Schedule a consultation with Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery to discover products from brands like Signature Hardware. Learn more at FergusonShowrooms.com. Goli, the world's first apple cider vinegar gummies, make being healthy simple.
Goli makes weight loss simple.
All day energy simple.
Jim, what's okay?
No, thank you. Cutting cravings.
Is anyone watching on Facebook? It says one person.
It's simply
Healthy
doesn't have to taste bad. In fact, with Goli, it's actually
4 people are watching total. I'm clearly not getting up to 250 viewers in this broadcast. I apologize for my lovely attitude, but I had trouble even starting this broadcast. With the new update, Peter, if you're listening, I couldn't get it to start. Now it's saying poor reception. I had to run it might be my phone. I had to run my Magic Cleaner. I also have trouble on my phone typing in the title because when I go back to edit it, it's very hard to edit on my phone.
Welcome back to our town hall. Coronavirus, the path forward. We've been talking about vaccines and a whole lot of other things. Now, the state of Oregon has been told it needs to vaccinate thousands of prisoners.
Yeah, he's talking. I'm yelling at the TV.
Seniors. Now, given that development and the slow rollout of the vaccines, what kind of impact will that have on the vaccination process? Dr. Seidlinger, can you answer that question?
I'm pausing it. And I already restarted the whole town hall because with my ADD, I wasn't paying attention. And so I started it from the beginning, probably 15 minutes replayed. Before I started this because I couldn't get on here.
We start by saying we know that our adults in custody and the staff in those facilities have been overly impacted by COVID-19 with many outbreaks and deaths in those facilities. So over the next 2 weeks, we'll need to allocate approximately 10,000 doses to that setting. The staff in those settings have been vaccinated, and this will allow the adults in custody in the state facilities to be vaccinated. We'll also work to identify methods to vaccinate the youth in custody who are 16 and over who can receive vaccine, and work with our local partners to get vaccine to other individuals who aren't in state custody but in local custody. This will happen along with the continuation of finishing up those individuals in phase 1A, working to vaccinate our educator population, and beginning this week or this next week, vaccinating those seniors over 80. So these will not be sequenced, but we'll do all these in line, and it'll take some doses over the next couple of weeks to get these adults in custody vaccinated.
Deborah Kafori, I want to bring you in here. I received a ton of email from people when they heard that inmates would receive their vaccinations before some seniors. Your thoughts on that, and explain to the people at home why you think it's important to prioritize the prison and jail population here.
Yes, and thank you for that question. We know that.
And I'm sure I'm the only person that's frustrated about this issue or any other issue right now. As in #frustrated, I think a lot of people are frustrated about a lot of things. And here's my coffee, and maybe I should drink more of it. And these new compression gloves, I made some soup, and maybe the sodium is making my hands swell, but I'm thinking maybe I should take them off. Anyway.
In jail are 5 times more likely to contract the disease and 3 times more likely to die from it than the general population. And if you look at the 1A population the state described, that includes people who are living in congregate facilities. So I do want to add one thing, which is that there are a lot of seniors who already have been vaccinated. They're living in these adult foster care homes or long-term care homes. They are in the 1A category receiving the vaccine. And people who are living, adults in custody who are living in our jails and our prisons are in that, in my opinion, living in that, are in that same category as well. So if we're going to be vaccinating the folks who work in these jails and prisons and people who come in to volunteer, it's fair and equitable if we vaccinate the people who are living there.
Dr. Vines, we have about 20 seconds left. And I want to leave you with this question here. Best guess at this point as to when every Oregonian who wants a vaccine can get one. Your thoughts on that?
That's probably a better question for Dr. Seidlinger, who's responsible for this state. What I've been saying with the usual caveat that this pandemic is unpredictable. My great hope is that by the end of calendar year 2021, anyone who wants a
The
vaccine.
calendar year? That's ridiculous.
So that is my best guess and my great hope.
It should be way sooner than that.
For being here tonight. Of course, this is just the beginning of the discussion. We'll have you back again. I promise you that. That does it for our town hall on vaccines. We do have more town halls in the pandemic in the coming weeks. In fact, every Thursday, we'll be taking your questions to local leaders and experts. If you have a question, send them to us. And stick around. Deb Knapp is coming up at 6:30 now with the biggest stories of the day. Stay with us.
Yeah, what did they...
In News 630, K2 investigates gun violence rising across Portland. Do officers have the resources they need? How investigators are working to address a growing backlog of unsolved murders. Spotlight on America. Several airlines recently began banning emotional support animals from the cabin, with bizarre incidents that led to this sweeping shift. Back on the field, student athletes across the U.S. have started to return to school sports. Why it might not be happening right away in Oregon. I'll just minutes away.
Okay. I have another call in 10 minutes, so maybe I'll stay on here if anyone wants to talk about anything. All right. I should tell people that I'm on the HAPS app. It's a new app, HAPPS, and if you click on the link, is the link in my Facebook feed? Let me look. If you click on the link and you subscribe, you get yeah, the link is in my on my Facebook feed and on my Periscope feed. If you subscribe, you get 100 coins free, and you can give them to your favorite broadcaster, which today might be Woof Woof, might be Bear, or might be me. It's probably not going to be Bo, since Bo's in the hallway. No, Bo is not being punished. Bo likes to have his office set up in the hall, her office set up in the hallway. Yeah. All right. So, and I cannot get a vaccine even if I'm offered one, which I won't be offered one in the next 2 weeks because I got a flu shot, and you're not supposed to get a flu shot and a COVID vaccine within 2 weeks of each, like you have to wait 2 weeks. But since I'm not 80, I won't be eligible, even though I'm in a high risk category due to multiple medical conditions, till several weeks or months. So, what time is it? 6:52. I did hear that they did vote about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I don't know what the outcome was, but I think they did possibly pull her off her committees. I think they need to kick her ass out of Congress. All of a sudden now she's seen the light, and she doesn't believe any of the things she said before, and that she was actually in a school when there was a shooting going on. Is that even true? Anyway, I have to watch the CNN coverage tonight and see what they say about it. But I heard something about, well, I was in a school when there was a shooting. I, meaning she, said that, and was down the hall and I'm like, really? All right. How many people have been on my broadcast? 6. Clearly, when I play music, it's much more popular, but then YouTube decides to ban it in several countries for copyright violation. And it's only certain songs that you get flagged for, and they don't pull down they didn't count it against my YouTube account, but they said it's been blocked in these 6 countries or in these countries for this song, and it's like, fine, whatever. When you subscribe to my channel, you get what you get. Some days you're going to get, as Rabbi Gary would call it, a rant, and I do not like that term. And so you get transparency. Some days you get figure skating commentary, and some days you get this. Hashtag frustrated. Hashtag still have OCD and repeat myself. So, what does this comment say? Eleanor Kathleen O'Brien is live now. Oh, that's interesting. VP Kamala Harris holds mock swearing in of Senator Leahy. What was that about? Why would you have a mock swearing in? Let's see if there's anything being given away in the Buy Nothing group by my friend who's moving. Someone's giving away a puzzle. The farmhouse had all its pieces at one point. Who's going to want a puzzle if the pieces are missing? Someone's giving away nursing bras. Someone's giving away a 12-inch pan without its non-stick, which you don't want because that's not healthy. No, it's not okay if you add more oil. If the non-stick is gone, that's dangerous to your health to use that pan because you're going to get chemicals in your body. Should I comment on that? Oh, hello from St. John. I'm going to tell them that a non-stick pan that has lost its coating is unsafe to use. And should be thrown away. Someone else is giving away, wait, small light bulbs? Are they chandelier light bulbs, but are they all right, I have a call in 3 minutes. Let me see if anyone joined from commented 2 comments on Facebook. What's the next comment? Oh, claim your credits 10 days in a row, login streak. All right. Okay. Help us moderate. I'm moderating my own broadcast. Of course it looks okay, or I wouldn't be doing it. All right. I'll see you all later. I have a meeting from now until it ends. So goodbye. Who else wants to say goodbye? Wolfa says goodbye. Barry, you want to say goodbye? And Bo says goodbye from the other room. All right. Whoa. All right. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Goodbye to the replay viewers.